Hello friends, and welcome to The Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you may be curious why I haven't done a face-on intro to this video. Well, the fact is that I'm doing this from home, and I'm using my very limited video setup that I have here at home. And so I decided to, rather than do the front forward setup and then do the camera down setup, that I would take better advantage of my time by just starting off this way. Okay, so we're starting off this way, and we haven't done my normal intro yet because we'll start the real video in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you what we're about to see. So just in case, you can either just choose to stay or move on. What we're doing is a hashtag, and the hashtag is called the soul reading. The soul reading. And that was a hashtag that was started first by Marlene Theresa and Lennan Smith. But I first saw it on Lisa Papez's channel, and I really, really, really loved what she did with it. And this was I want to say it might even be up to a month ago, but it might not be that long. This is for our community, that's a really, really old hashtag, right? But I haven't had the time to do anything like this yet. So now I have the time, and I'm doing it now. So again, this is called the soul reading hashtag, and it started off with the two original creators, again, Marlene Theresa and Lennan Smith, who had read a book by Rachel Pollack called A Walk Through the Forest of Souls. And in the book, A Walk Through the Forest of Souls, Rachel Pollack poses the question, why don't we ask the tarot more powerful questions, more life lesson, why don't we ask philosophical questions even of the tarot? For example, what is life? What is the soul? What is the nature of the universe? Who is the divine presence that we all call things like source or universal consciousness or God or Allah or Brahman? Or why don't we ask those big questions of the tarot? And so Rachel Pollack, according to the creators of this hashtag, poses 4 questions for our inquiry into the question of what is the soul. Yeah? The soul reading. So the 4 questions are, 1, and I'll have it in the description box below. 1, what is the soul? Number 2, how do we make soul? Now, originally, number 3 is, what does it demand of us? But I'm going to change that to, what does it call from us instead? Personally, I don't believe God, source, the universe, our soul, our higher self, our eternal nature, whatever you want to name all of those parts. I don't think there is any demand of us. However, I think there is a call for us to become. So rather than demand, I preferred to move that into call. What does it call from us? The soul. And number 4, what does it give us? So we have 4 questions, 1 card for each spot. And I'm going to do this twice. I'm going to do this once with my Albano-Waite deck, which I'm sorry is very out of print. Fair warning, yeah, but I love this deck. This is one of my favorite decks. One of my oldest decks as well. My oldest in my collection, in my library. This is one of the oldest decks I have in my library, as in I've had it the longest. One of those. I have decks that are actually older, I think, but they haven't been in my library that long. And then I will also do the same reading with an oracle deck to see what we will have revealed from this deck. Okay? So this is the Oracle of the 7 Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. We'll use this one as well. So, friends, let's begin. You'll see the introduction, and if you want to stick with it, come on the journey with me. Let's go. Friends, thank you for keeping on this journey with me. And let me thank you in advance for hitting the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, subscribing to the channel. It really does help with the channel itself, with growing the channel. Oh, also, if you want a private reading from me, my email address is below, thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. Or you can just let me know in the comments below that you want a reading, and we'll figure out a way for us to connect off of the YouTube platform, because that would be a little bit more private, right? And readings we want to have some privacy, some security there for private readings, right? So all of that is possible. Now, questions. Again, let me shuffle the deck. If you want to skip over the shuffling of the deck, please feel free. But I want to shuffle the deck as we go through the questions again. So number 1, what is the soul? Number 2, how do we make soul? Number 3, what does it call from us? Number 4, what does it give us? Right? So, now you know my shuffle is long, just saying. What is soul? How do we make soul? What does soul call from us? What does it call from us? And what does it give us? What does soul give us? Now, it might have been nice to have used Rachel Pollack's deck, now the Shining Tribe, but I've got cards pulled out from that deck for my ancestral reading that I want to keep out of that deck, so I wouldn't have a full deck to use. But that might have been a good choice, had it been available to me. So again, what is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? And what does it give us? In case you're interested in my doing an ancestral reading for you using her deck, I might be up for that. Let me know either in the comments below or by email. It's a 7-card spread, and I've found it kind of powerful, frankly. So, yes, what is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? And what does it give to us? What is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? Oh. And what does it give us? Okay, we're ready. So this is a 4-card spread. Just going left to right. Like, I think that's the way Lisa Papez did it as well. Here we go. What is the soul? Oh, hello. Now, if you know me, well, we'll just keep going. Okay. How do we make soul? Ooh, good card. What does it call from us? Oh, yes. And what does it give us? Okay. Very, very interesting. Okay, so what do I get here? What is the soul? Now, if you know the history of the Hanged Man, you know that there's been an evolution, you could say, or you might think a de-evolution of understandings of ways of reading the Hanged Man. The reason I love the Hanged Man for several reasons. One, The body of the hanged man gives us the form of the great work, the alchemical symbol for the great work, which is this form, the cross on top of a triangle. I also like the enlightened halo here, the sainted halo here. So yes, we do have the idea of, and I don't read this hanged person, the hanged man, as a traitor or a betrayer, as some people do. For me, the hanged man, and which is the reason why my personal moniker here on YouTube is the Hanged Man in the Moon, which would have been really interesting if this had been the moon card over there at the end. So what is soul? To me, the soul is that enlightened, otherly perspective holding part of us, which is patient, which is willing to hang around with us, right? Is willing to put itself in the fore of the material, in the stability of the material realm. It's more than willing to, it delights, I believe, in co-manifesting in this material realm with its own differing perspective from our human conscious brain perspective, right? So the soul is the hanged man. And how do we make the soul? Personally, I don't think we make the soul. The soul makes us. But how do we make the soul? We make the soul. We enliven the soul, perhaps, by being the Queen of Wands, by being independent, by being the wand suit is, for many of us, myself included, also the spiritual suit. The fiery passion of spirit. There's the water side of spirit, the depths, the flowing, intuitive part of spirit, and then there's the fiery, inspired part of spirit, which is the wands. So, yes, the independent spirit, the fire which burns, and inspires, and is inspiring. That's how we make spirit, by embodying our inner Queen of Wands, which includes our sexuality. Our sexuality is part of our soul, right? At least a healthy sexuality is part of a healthy soul, I believe. It doesn't mean that we are play boys or play girls or play non-binary people, right? But sexuality is not expressed only in the act of putting genitals together or putting genitals to oral cavities or anal cavities, but rather the sexuality of touch, of intimacy is also part of this. That's how we make, reveal, create, enliven, add fire to our soul. So what does the soul call from us? The soul calls from us our ability to move forward, to keep on going. Even when we've had experiences that are uncomfortable, are painful, are sad, are anxiety-ridden, the soul calls from us the movement forward, from the stormy seas into the clearer waters. And taking that which we have learned forward with us as well. We don't just escape, we carry the things that we have discovered and learned with us as we move from the turbulent seas into calmer waters. And so what does the soul give us? The soul gives us our ability to be the masters of our reality, to work with anybody who we have the delightful opportunity to work with, to use the matter that is around us to create, to be secure in our power to create as well. For me, the kings are fire, which is the spirit. It's the spirit of and the passion of working with earth. I know a lot of us think that the kings are air and the knights are fire. For me, the knights are air and the kings are fire. So for me, this is my reading. These are the cards appeared for me. This is the one who has that fiery passion for creativity and is able to lead and is able to manifest and is able to work with many people and is able to nourish and nurture that around in a more active sense, rather than holding space as maybe the Queen of Pentacles can, or in the sense of nourishing with like, here, have some soup, here, have some food. This person is able to nourish and nurture with a more the only thing that comes to my mind is a more active. And yes, giving sustenance to people is active, certainly. But there's another active, more, let's get out there and let's do this thing kind of activity of leadership and nourishing those around us. Does that make sense? So this is the flow, yeah? We do the Queen of Wands to be the soul. We move forward with that which we have learned, and we are called to be the manifestors, to work with other people, to have that fire here be that which inspires us to lead and to create. That makes sense? That's a very powerful idea of soul, right? And it asks of us a little bit of a difficult thing in this Six of Swords. We got to be able to move on and learn from and take the things that we have learned from our trials and tribulations into the future of powerful manifestation. So I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see what our Oracle deck is going to have for us. Now, Lisa really did some beautiful readings with several decks, and I'm only going to do two, but I am going to do two because I was intrigued by her use of decks as well. And I'm going to be using as my second deck, the one I just showed you, which was the Oracle of the Seven Energies, which is a lot like a chakra deck to me, although the creator does not say that it is a chakra deck. So what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. If you want to skip over the shuffle, feel free. But I'm going to shuffle because I want this to be a very, very, right now, unprepared, unanticipated, in the moment reading. So, questions. Number one. What is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? And what does it give us? If you're curious about why I shuffle the way I shuffle, ask me in the comments below. If you already know, you know. So, again, what is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? I love this deck. And what does it give us? I don't get many cards flying out of this deck when I overhand. Oh, here we go. I knew that was going to happen. Almost had a card fly off into space. So again, what is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? What does it give us? What is the soul? How do we make soul? What does it call from us? And what does it give us? Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Okay. These cards seem to want to be in play. What is the soul? The uncharted sea. Interesting. How do we make soul? Smoke and mirrors. What does it call from us? Great and full. That makes absolute sense. And what does it give us? Earth magic. Well, it's almost the same. It's so interesting. Almost the same. Well, it ends up in almost the same place. A little bit different path, but it ends up in almost the same place. So let me pull out the guidebook. So what does the guidebook say about uncharted sea? What I get right off the bat is, what is the soul? The soul is our ability to, the soul is our essence, which draws us into the unknown. A little bit like that Six of Swords card, where we move in from the choppy waters into the calmer waters, carrying that which we've learned forward with us. Here, it's not what we're leaving so much, but what we're moving into. The unknown, and our ability to be present with that, to have the bravery for that. Let me give you some information about the card from the creator. Stepping into the unknown without a map. Moving beyond our comfort zone. Choosing to do things differently. Trusting in the ebb and flow of life. So there's trust in the way things will unfold. Is something that is the soul, right? That call into leaving our comfort zone, but also the unconscious mind particularly gets really involved in routines. And so the conscious mind can turn off, and we can do the things that we always do the same every day, because the unconscious mind and the body have got that all memorized, and they're really happy with all of that stuff. Yeah, where we wake up we go brush our teeth the same way, we go down to the kitchen, we do the same things in the kitchen as before we leave for work or whatever it is. Those patterns, those rituals that the body has learned to perform for us, the body and the unconscious love those things once they've got them down. And when the soul calls us to move into the unknown, the body and the unconscious become very uncomfortable and will try to stop it from happening. But it's the soul that calls us forward. So that is the soul, I believe. This is the day to dive into a novel experience and fully immerse yourself in the new. Now, navigating the uncharted aspects of yourself means you won't have a map, because no one else has ever been here. On the journey, you cannot rely on the help you would typically expect from others who have gone before you. The new territory is yours to explore. That's what the soul is here to do, right? To explore the territory. You're invited to be a pioneer, a pathmaker, a magical cartographer who draws your map with your own life force as the ink. That's what the soul is. So how do we make soul? Now, how do we make soul? This looks like a little... Oh, by the way, this was from chakra, the seventh energy center, which to me is the crown chakra, which is the chakra which connects with the divine. So it makes absolute sense that this is the card that came up in response to what is the soul. Now, how do we make soul? This comes from the sixth energy center, which is the third eye chakra to me. And we get smoke and mirrors. It's a less positive card, right? It's seeing, but how do we make soul? We make soul by seeing through the lens of past conditioning, the inability to recognize the truth of what is being offered, but rather healing from misguided perceptions. Moving beyond the illusion of separation. That's it. There we go. We make soul by moving beyond the illusion of separation and being accountable for our biases and the way we have viewed the world. We make soul by moving past those biases and the illusion of separation that we have created. So we're asked to ask ourselves if what we see is really just what we are looking for. What do we sense beyond our intellectual assessment of what is? Can we drop into our heart and soul and call for a vision, a feeling, an awareness of the true and authentic? That's how we make soul. Every day, remind ourselves that we are intrinsically connected to all of life. The universe needs us to learn about it. We have within us extraordinary magic with which to create life beyond our wildest expectations. We want to trust our inner voice that reminds us that we are truly will find that what we seek. That's how we make soul, or discover, I would say, soul, by seeing through the separation that we falsely create. By peering into and discerning the authentic. And reminding ourselves that, again, we are here to learn and discover the universe for the sake of the universe and co-create with the universe beyond what our expectations to this point have brought us, because the soul is the one that leads us into the uncharted waters, right? So what does the soul call forth from us? This is from the first energy center, or the root chakra. It calls for great and full, and I think you can tell exactly what that means. So it calls forth from us gratitude, right? Number 4, the mindful practice of gratitude, knowing that we are enough, committing to our intentions, a sense of sufficiency, and letting go of attachment to form. That's what the soul calls for us, and that seems absolutely exactly perfect. All of those things, let me say them once more. The mindful practice of gratitude, that's what we're called to do. Knowing that we are enough, and committing to our intentions. Committing to our intentions. Feeling a sense of our sufficiency. We are enough again. We are enough. And letting go, and at the very last step, letting go of our attachment to the form. We commit to our intention, have faith in our intention, but release what we see as the form that it must appear as. Right? That's what the soul is calling us to do. And so, what do we get back in return for that? Yeah. What does the soul give us? It gives us earth magic. Just like the King of Pentacles, right? Being grounded in nature. A quiet, dark place where all things begin. Where essence is first ignited before manifestation. Knowing you are part of the earth and earth is part of you. To trust that the seeds we have planted in our field of dreams are in good hands. The earth is conscious, divine source of love that is doing its part on our behalf. Slow down. Take in the beauty of our lives now, and trust that what we are intending is being nourished and is growing. Those things that we are grateful for are growing. That's what the King of Pentacles is able to do. And therefore, all of those things that the King of Pentacles wants to create, the King of Pentacles can create. So that's the progression of the soul, right? What is the soul? Moving into the unknown, the navigator of the uncharted sea, of following our own path. We make the soul by seeing through the separation that we create, seeing past the illusions. Seeing the essence, the essential truth that lies within. And soul calls us to our gratitude and letting go of form. And in return, and that leads us to the trust that all of the things that we are planting in this process will grow, will be manifest. That's what soul is. That's a really powerful, I think both of those were powerful readings, and both of them echoed each other in many, many ways. Let me see if I can pull out those first cards again. Oh, did I shuffle this deck? I think I might have, I put the cards back into this deck. We had the Page of Cups, we had the Knight of Cups, we had the Knight of Cups, we had the Queen of Wands, we had the Knight of... Was it the Knight of Cups? No, it wasn't the Knight of Cups. No, I'm thinking of a different reading. Ah, okay. Well, you know. I remember the Queen of Wands being here. I remember, what is the Soul? The Soul was the Hanged Man. Let me see. Okay, if you want, just stop. But let me see if I can recreate this reading. The Hanged Man. Yeah? The Queen of Wands. How do we make Soul? That way. What does it call from? Oh, no. Okay, so yes, I remember now. The call for us was the Six of Swords, to move on, but moving on with gratitude. And then, not this card, we had the King of Pentacles. Right. I was thinking of another reading I did recently. Can you see the echoes here? Can you see how this and the uncharted sea reflect each other in a way? The Queen of Wands, independent passion. Now, these are a little bit different, but I think they're different aspects of the same thing. Gratitude and moving on with the Six of Swords. And then finally, definitely, the Earth Magic and the King of Pentacles. I think these really do reflect each other very beautifully and fill in the gaps from one another, if that makes sense. So friends, there we are. That's what soul is, for today at least. And I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below if any of this makes sense, or if it doesn't make sense, or what you think. What struck you in this reading as being maybe truth, or what struck you as uncomfortable? I'd love to hear from you about that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you. And thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. And again, if you want a private reading from me, my email address is below. And friends, now, as always, from my soul to yours, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.